Okay, I'm live. I'm getting set up on the computer here. Give me a second because I want to be able to see comments if there are any. Um, New channel, small channel. It just makes me happy. So I am going to be making Panthor, an Origins Panthor, into a sleeping Panthor. I have my TV set up for live streams. Let me. I'll be working here in just a moment. Setting this up is always fun. It is just me in the shop right now. I have to find. Okay. Look, I have live. That's me. Look, I have live. That's me. Gotta kill that audio. I want to pop out chat. I'm going to move my chat to my big screen here. Okay, and I should do a control plus. It looks like there are 3 people watching, which amazes me. I have this whole setup here, see, which will hold my phone while I work. Okay. I gotta turn you around though. Turn around. Okay. So let's. Is this where we want to be? I think that's where we want to be. Let's turn this light on. Okay. Hello, June Ritchie. Well, I am working on a... can you hear me okay? Just out of curiosity. This is something that I'm modifying action figures. It's something that I really enjoy. And Master of the Universe has always been, like, probably my favorite mythos. This is the Origins Panthor, which is Skeletor's ride right here. And I have a couple of these, because while this action figure set in the 80s was super popular, they came back out with a new line maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Origins, which is the same figures basically, and it was not as popular. So I was able to get these for not that expensive. The whole line is very inexpensive right now. If you're paying for it new, it's like $20 a figure. If you are, if you can be patient and wait until they go on sale, you can get them like $10 a figure, sometimes less. Okay. So what I has to do is I'm going to turn this guy into like this sleeping pose. This is a statue of a sleeping panther that is in Fort Worth. Eventually I'll have 2 cameras so that I can have one facing me and I can look, but I don't even have OBS set up right now. This is but I'm going to use this as reference and make Panthor into a sleeping panther so that he can be in Skeletor's throne room of the Snake Mountain that I'm building. So for now, I've got just some prep to do on these figures. This gives me an extra saddle, which I'll put somewhere. Thank you, wife. I'm glad you like the new setup. And this is a fairly posable figure, but it's nowhere near as posable as I need it to be. Go up a little bit with you. Just you see a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so he's nowhere near as posable as I need to be. So I'm going to have to do some cutting on him in order to get him into this really relaxed pose. You know, his head is got to be kicked over quite a bit, and his mouth is fully closed. So in order to get his mouth fully closed, I've got to cut his teeth out. I've got to do a little bit of resculpting on his head. A lot of times these come apart easier if you heat them up. I get that hot air there into his neck. And I don't really care if I break it, because if I break it, I've got to, it's not going to be posable once I finish this. So what I'll do is I'll sculpt all of the weird joints and stuff in between. I'm basically turning a posable action figure into a static statue. There's a post here that I have to kind of cut through in order to do that. Maybe there's more than one. There we go. So let me just cut his teeth off and see. Now, this is not my only Panthor. If this was my only Panthor, of course, I would not be doing this. I don't talk good about myself too much, but one thing I am fearless in my crafting. I am not afraid to work on stuff. I think you just have to kind of get after it sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some super glue and just glue his mouth shut. I know his mouth is shut. No sleeping cat. Okay, that's not true, but I'm not going to have Panthor sleep with his mouth open. And I will need super glue for this anyway. Now, what I can't see, I'm going to change my top chat to live chat just in case. Jude, it's so good of you to join. Okay. All right. I tried to get as much of this stuff, set up beforehand as possible. And I know I got to do some work on the head. I certainly do. Sometimes you glue your lid onto your super glue. At least, sometimes I do. I was on there. Okay. Now I have to look inside the mouth here and see what makes contact, because that's where I want to put the glue. And again, I'm going to heat this up. And that way it'll bend more than it should. There we go. Now his mouth is closed-ish. I'm going to hold that for like 10 seconds. Okay, that did the job. I'm going to give a little spritz of... This is just, it's an Insta-Set for super glue. In case you have delicate stuff you don't want to hold. Okay. So, what's the closest that I can get this body to this pose without breaking anything? Well, these paws have no ankle, so that's got to change, faux show. And his back is, he's kind of sitting like this. I think I'm just going to take off this back leg. He's going to be laying with his head this way. See, I'll take off this back leg. I'm just working. So I'll talk while I work. If I wasn't talking while I was working, I'd be watching a bad 70s horror movie right now. All right, that is on there. Can I get this off? That is a very well put together toy. It's not something I was counting on. But I do want that off. I mean, if I had to, I could sculpt this whole cat from scratch. I don't want to. And this way I know that the scale is right, you know? This terrifying tool, well, I don't think I can play a movie and be live at the same time because of copyright stuff, so I'm just going to be careful. But the terrifying tool I'm using is a Dremel with a saw blade attached. Scares the heck out of me, but useful. Okay, let's see. All right, we got a leg off. Good. Okay, this folds over this way. This arm comes down, folds over, and the head will kind of rest on top of it. So some of this will have to come off. That's going to look so nice. But I have to straighten out this paw. I think that I'm unafraid to break things because I have some confidence that I can fix it. And I think the more things you make, the more confidence you get in that way. Can you guys see how many people are watching? My assumption is it's 2. Yeah, so this paw is flat on the ground, so it has to turn a bit. Okay, 5 people are watching. What I'm wondering is this all Stiltbeast Studios people or any action figure people watching? I'm kind of cooling down. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this foot all the way off. I think that little bit there is not going to help me much. It'll fight me. Well, very good, June. I appreciate your support. So this figure, of course, only wants to work in certain ways. Sort of the whole point of articulation, right, is to only move a certain way. Trick when using this guy is to not line up with the way that it spins. I don't want to line up with the way that it spins so that if it flies off, it doesn't stick into me. Actually, my last TV in the shop, I broke because the Dremel bit broke, flew off, and hit the TV and shattered it. Okay. And then this paw is sitting over top of this one. And it looks great. Means this one has to come off again. And every time I use this guy, I'm popping on my safety glasses, which are my glasses. Okay. So front paws are off. I have to get that tail off. This is like, there's a lot of engineering in this. Like what screws to what and whatnot. This is the part that's down. He's laying down on this side. I'd like to remove this bit so I can get the tail out. I'm pretty sure, though, I'm just going to sculpt a whole new tail. Dremels are great. They're a very useful tool. If you think about a Dremel having all those, anything that does a lot of different things is never going to be the best thing for the job. Like a Swiss Army knife. It's a knife, but it's not the best knife. It's a can opener, but it's not a very good can opener. So just be aware that sometimes using a Dremel may not be the thing to do. In this case, I needed a pretty small saw, and this is, appropriate for that. Have to be close to having this off of there. Well, the ring is off. Okay, I'm going to grab myself a screwdriver. I'll be right back. I want something to pry on this. That is a different Dremel with a grinding head. Just so I didn't shove that saw down in there. But now I got a way to pry. just going to be like a 2-hour long video of me breaking a toy. That's my fear. That has melted down quite a bit. That is off, but it does not let me get to the tail. There's some pieces I want to maintain control of, you know? So that is why I haven't really just hammered the snot out of this. I don't want to have to rebuild the whole body. Okay. All right. I do think I'm going to rebuild this whole haunch right here, from the haunch to the tail, because this is pretty good as far as how he lays on the ground. Maybe he can be a little flatter. Yeah. Okay. And I think this should be down a little more, because in this part of the elbow is resting on the ground. And it's at like that angle. The only way that I can think to do that is to like belt sand this part of it, in order to get this flatter. This leg has to come off too, but I think I should have an easier time breaking this leg off. Maybe. Yeah, I'm turning this action figure into an inaction figure, i.e. a statue. So this is a very well-built toy. I don't see any 5-year-old who could rip the legs off of this sucker. All right. That's good. I can also probably heat this enough to where it's kind of melty on this side, and I would be able to smoosh it out a little, and that's what I want to do. Now I will still need some sanding. So, because all this will be rebuilt. That is this, this leg here. This will get rebuilt. I'll use the same paws. I could cut this off and lengthen it, but I think that would make his proportions too weird. I could also probably cut this off, put it where I need it, and then rebuild the area around it. That's pretty good. This is not on the ground, and it's on the ground in my reference. So if I change this, in this way the spine is pointing up, like the spine is going up this way. In the image, the spine is going back this way. So it's up here and it's back there. So I'm going to heat the middle and actually give that little spine a twist. And now I have to wait for it to cool down a little bit. But my elbow's on the ground. That's what the difference was. While I'm waiting on that to cool, have a drink. Okay, I'm going to take off the rest of this hump. So I'm hoping that this is a 2 to 3 hour project. That's my hope. But this guy was my day. So I'm, if I get him done today, I'm very happy. All right, that is better. We were going to have a Panthor with a neck hump, but I get that figured out. All right. Now his head is resting sort of on this arm right here. That is actually perfect. See how that now will rest right there? I'm going to give him a little more neck than he actually has. Yeah, he'll go right there. That'll be great. So that means that I can put this paw on. And attaching things is always harder than breaking it apart. Now, what I could do, once I turn this into a sleeping Panthor statue, is I could make a silicone mold and then make a one-piece static Panthor and possibly even sell them, because there is, I think that people might want a sleeping Panthor for their own Skeletor throne room. You know, because everybody has one of those. This is 5-minute epoxy putty. It's this steel stick stuff. I use it a lot because it takes 5 minutes to harden. Of everything that I use, I can use like a pea-sized amount of this 5 hours earlier, and my wife will smell this on my hand. She'll smell like, you've been using that stuff. You know, she's like, spray paint, no problem. Contact cement, no. Fiberglass, no problem. This stuff, I don't think it smells. It smells a bit like burning to me, like something was burned. A faint plastic burny smell. It's 2 colors, and you've got to mix it until it is one color. Okay, I'm one color, and now I pretty much have like 5 minutes. And you need a little thing of water, because water will help you smooth it out. It's kind of sticky, so it'll stick to stuff pretty good. Everything that I mixed up it's dead. Like I have to use it. It's gonna harden. It's gonna get really hard in about 5 minutes. Like, it's pretty honest. I do want to kind of keep moving it on the table, because I don't want this to stick to the table. I just want this to stick to that paw. Now, this stuff is hard enough that I can also like Dremel it when I need to. I don't know if I have enough time to do this, but I might get that other paw over top. The other paw over top and then hanging down, it just screams cat-like. Okay. And this paw is not on the ground. It's hanging in the air just a little bit. Let's get off all that excess. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. If this doesn't work out, then what I'll do is I can just sand this. But if I can do 2 paws in the time, you know, that I mixed up for 1. And I'll need a little bit for right here, but this stuff is just too hard. See, now that's very hard. I think I've got that lazy paw capture the way that I want it. See this? Right here. Right there. That's what I want. That paw over top is bent. See how that paw is over top and bent? Okay. Happy with that. And again, that head is going to go like right down here. And then I'll build all of this up with that 5-minute stuff. Okay. So that is good. Yeah, that's nice and relaxed. That's good. Okay. So this back leg is off. This is the front leg. And I'm just going to sculpt this whole haunch, tail, but I will use this paw section again. And that stuff gets too hard to use at about 3 minutes. But now see, sculpting paws is hard. If I can cut this paw off, sculpting the shaft of the arm is easy. So I'm only gonna you know, I'm not going to do the hard part. I'm going to let them do the hard part. Okay. So now this paw, the paw in the back, this is the back leg. This here is the back leg of... Is that the middle of my screen? That's the middle. So this here is the back leg of him. It's folded up underneath. The front leg, the leg on this side, I should say, is bent here, and its paw is down there. So the first thing I've got to do is get this paw set up where you see the pads facing out, and get that stuck to him and figure out exactly where that would land. I tell you what, I got a canvas holder for my phone because I knew I was doing a lot of tabletop stuff. And I am very happy with how this is working out as far as showing you guys stuff. I think that that's going to go right about here is where that would go. I'm going to take this and build a little bit of the leg. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 4:03 p.m.
Can you guys tell me what time I started going live? I might have to reassess my time for how long this will take. Okay, so probably the build is going to be about 2 hours, and then the paint job is going to be about an hour. Just like in the picture, I'm looking at the tilt. I'm looking at the angle of the paw. So I'm trying to make sure that I get those right. And then I'm putting a little bit of texture in it. What's really cool about this is that as I move the camera down, the light on it comes down too. So not only do you guys get a better view, but I get a better view. And normally the camera is like completely in my way. I'm not worried about finishing that. I'm just doing this little peekaboo part of the leg that sticks out from that backside. And then you'll notice I'm working on this part while this part up here cures up. It does take, it takes about 3 to 4 minutes for this stuff to start getting hard. Once it starts getting hard, I can't sculpt it. But then it gets really set, it takes about 15, 20 minutes. And that is why I am leaving this alone for a little bit. Coming over here, working on the back. And I'm pretty close to just mixing up more. Boy, does that work? This is his leg straight. And in the art that I have, his leg is very curled up. See this curl? Like, this is almost to scale. Like, I can almost set that on there if I had printed this a little bigger. So I need to go ahead. And I don't think these folds are good. I don't think that's right. There's too many folds in there. So here, this leg is what I got to work on. And I think I'm going to put that paw in place because I know where that paw goes. And because I know where that paw goes, I can build the leg. I know the haunch is the A starting point, and I just have to fill in A to B. So let's get that other paw off. None of these paws have any articulation. That's just static. So, boy, I tell you what though, that just gave me an idea for something else. Might have to pick up another Panthor. Okay, I'm going to cut, lift you guys back up here. I also want to make sure that I didn't stick this to the table. Good, I did not. I've got a hot glue gun sitting over here too, in case I need to glue something to get epoxy. But so far, I haven't really needed that. And this foot is right about here. Okay. And that Panther statue that I have all the images of is in Fort Worth, Texas, because they have a college team, I guess, the something something Panthers. Maybe it's the Fort Worth Panthers. I don't follow much sports. I have one favorite sports team, and that is whoever is playing the Texas Rangers. And yes, I can do this right here. Okay. Where exactly do these touch? It's right there. A little bit of super glue. This is the Gorilla Glue Super Glue Gel. I like it a lot. Want to glue those together, not glue that to the floor. Okay. Yeah, that'll be it. So now I can mix up more of this stuff. I saved my big chunks of this just in case at some point I need to fill a big area. Like when I do the big leg, I might glue some of these on. We'll see. So this is 5 minutes. This gives me 15 minutes of sculpting time. When I work on the head, I'll switch to this stuff. And I see like the joint on the elbow is exposed. You can see the hinge of the elbow. So I will go ahead and I'll mix up a little bit. Once this guy's all the way done, and I'll fill in those weird joints that you see. I'll fill in this line between the shoulder that I can see and make him more like an animal. I want to sculpt you like an animal. And I don't mind unwrapping this whole thing. Normally I just cut it, but I know I'm going to use all of this on this guy. And these are about $6. These are $5.94 or $6.50 depending upon where you get them. Harbor Freight or Walmart. Steel stick epoxy. So like my cost on this project is going to be the Panthor, which was $9, and then all of my supplies will be, I don't know, $12. I just need a little right there, just a little. Okay, this will be too much, and that's okay. Alexa, count down 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
So I'm working on action figures on a Sunday because I'm off work, and nothing is falling apart. We have such an amazing team at Dark Hour. I'm able to take days off. That is remarkable to me. This is like the first time in like, I don't know, 10, 15 years where I can have a regular day off almost. You know, we did a good job of working hard, nose to the grindstone, kind of building our empire, and now we are bringing people up in order to help us, and hopefully in our work showing them how to succeed themselves. Very talented young people and people my age, our age, who might not have had the best example or the best start. That's what I like about what I do. I guess I like affecting people. Whether it's you came through my haunt, I'm going to scare the snot out of you. or we're working together. Let's aim you towards the stars. I have the hair direction to be a guide. I'm just using my, see this little tool here? Probably very similar to what they put the hair in the original sculpture. They're better than me. I'm ham-fisting my way through this, but it should get the job done. I'm paying attention to fur direction. That's important. Little short strokes looks like little short hairs, and that's what I want. Probably going to be like a bone divot here, where these bones kind of connect. That's that. That's all I had to do. Now I have this honk here, so I'm going to use it. Press it against that. This will be nowhere near the that'll be nowhere near the skin of this, because that's going to be up higher and different, so I don't have to do too much work on that. And then I gotta let this sit. So while I'm letting this sit, I might place the head. Although I think I should do all of the work on the head separate. And this has to cure up. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that sit. And let's work on his head. Yeah, for what I'm doing, I'm really loving this whole camera setup. Yeah, I can't wait to put that big old tail on there and swoop it around. That's going to be so nice. I almost want to mount this on something so I have a bit to sculpt, but that's okay. I'm going to grab a pair of scissors for this. So the part of Snake Mountain that I've already made is just the top. And there's a whole rest of the mountain to make. And the next layer that I'm working on is Skeletor's throne room. And I want a sleeping Panthor in Skeletor's throne room, because I think that'll make it homey. Grab some scissors. Okay. Cats do make homes homey. And the action figure that I painted last night, I actually put on my Instagram. So I'm going to do just a little bit of this clay, well, this epoxy. And I want the water within reach. I need this sculpting tool within reach. We'll take a second and clean up. I don't see myself using any of this right now. So let's clean up our station. That's kind of important. So you're not working on top of filth or yuck. That's a pretty good tail intact. I'm going to leave that sucker. I'll hang on to it. Okay. Grab a few sculpting tools. Because I have more work to do on his mouth in order to get that fully closed. And I've got to close his eyes. His eyes are open in this. And his ears are wrong. This is a ears laid back kind of growling head. And I'm just going to ignore those ears and put these other ears right on top. So his ears are up. Because if you're sleeping, your ears are up to hear noise and wake you up if you need it. I'm not used to filming vertical, but they suggest this because this is going to go on YouTube Live. Will show up in the shorts feed, I guess, as a live. I don't know. They said I should go vertical, so here I am listening to YouTube. Obey your betters. That's what they tell me. All right. We'll mix this up. That way you see less of my belly, but less of my awesome Beastman shirt also. It's a win-lose situation. If I end up, really liking how this guy goes, what I will do is I will make a one-piece silicone mold so that I can pour these guys up in resin. And this would be a nice, if I were to do, I like conventions and trade shows, and if I were to go to a convention, then I might sell sleeping Panthors. Okay. Just kind of filling in those little cracks. Going to fill in all of that. My extreme hope is that I don't need to sculpt a whole new head for this guy. I think I can do it out of this one. Like they made this guy snarling, but it's not that heavy of a snarl, so you could just buy that it's just wrinkles. I'm just filling in that whole mouth, and I'm smoothing that out. water on my finger. So June, I don't know if you know, but we started going live on Stilt Beast Live again. So the first one was this past Wednesday, and I'll be live again Wednesday night. I'm going to get back in that Wednesday night routine for Stilt Beast Live. So hopefully you can see us there too. But yes, I might be live every Sunday or just when I get a chance. This is a hobby. This is not work for me right now, and I don't want to make it work. If you didn't follow this Instagram, how did you see me? How did this show up? That's weird. Yes, it's the same sheet for reference, but putting it in two places means I might not have to turn my head away from the sculpture as much. If I can just move my eyes, I know that's ridiculous, but that little bit more motion might not make me lose my place. I'm just pushing in and I'm getting that gap here in the mouth. I need a little more material. Did I use all the material that I made? Not quite. So the puffy part of his mouth, his muzzle, is up here because he's snarling. I just have to make a little more muzzle. So that's not bad. Well, sounds like this time the homepage did you right. And I appreciate it. Should have, just a few rows of whisker marks here. Yeah, I definitely need a little more material to make these fuller, because right now they're not quite full enough. So, but that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. While my mouth is setting up, I'm going to move to my ears, which means I need a little more material. It's got these nice rounded ears. And once the ears are done, I can move on to the eyes and make them closed. That'll be very little material. It's feeling a little crowded. Now I'm going to make this into like a little log. I have 2 ears to do, right? And I want them to be the same size. So if I cut this in half and I use half for one ear and half for the other ear, I'll be okay. I'm dragging that epoxy clay down so it makes a nice connection. Always find their left ear easier to sculpt than the right. Okay, how's that ear size? Maybe a hair undersized, but not bad. I'm sort of relying on me pressing this into the sculpture, the clay, and spreading it out. I'm getting a connection a couple of ways. I'm getting strength because I'm increasing the surface area in which it's bonding, and I'm physically pushing it in there. And as this gets a little stiffer, I can do more better detailed sculpture. I can sculpt it more betterer. You have to dip your fingers in water every now and then. So on a mask, your ears don't get seen at the same time. But this is so small that you can see both ears at the same time. So they have to be a little better than the ears on a mask as far as looking like each other. And this down here is firmer now. That's much harder. Up. Now I've got this like golden time right now to sculpt it. But it's about to be too hard to sculpt. I'm trying to get that up. I think his ears are going to be up and out a little bit because he's sleeping. He's panning, you know. He's trying to pay attention to, he's asleep, but he wants to. Okay, I got to take out a little bit down here in order for it to rest on that paw the right way. But like I said, next is going to be, see, we just completely rebuilt his ears. I'm happy with those. They're fine-ish. Very little bit for his eyes. For the eyes, I'm just going to make 2 marbles, basically. Well, half marbles and put them on there. And then I'll use the wire tool to make his little slits. I think the closed eyes will really calm down this aggravated brow. And making them a little bigger will make it seem a little smaller. I'm only going to use half of that material for the eyes. If I get both eyes and I'm happy with them and I have more time, I'll use what I have left there. I think that's too much. I'll use what I have left over. Remember, I wanted to make those jowls a little bigger. His muzzle. anything that I cover up, I just have to redefine. But Alan, you covered up that great sculpting they did. Yeah, well, I had to make room for any great sculpting that I would want to do. It's a closed eye. Let's go for that sleeping kitty. Panthor looks so peaceful when he's sleeping. Okay, I have material and time. Right now, this is hardening, so I have to work harder. I have to press harder, I should say, in order to get the same effect on the clay. That could cause you to panic. Don't panic. Just the same thing is going to work. It just takes a little more effort to make it work. Too much, and I would make Chipmunk Thor, which I don't want. I want Panthor, not Chipmunk Thor. Got to control the size of those jowls. Going back to his eyes a little bit. Calming those eyes down a touch. Remember, the eyes is the same batch of clay as the muzzle. So if I have time to work on one, I have time to work on the other. Texture is how I can make these blend in. See all that little texture here in the head? Anything that gets too hard, what I can do is I can actually sand it with the Dremel or with a little bit of sanding cloth. But you can let it get all the way hard or just cut it off, you know. It gets to a point where you can knife it. I mean, this sculpting in 5-minute epoxy it's not for the faint of heart because you have 5 minutes. Like that's how much time you have. This is another sculpting tool with a thinner wire. Just defining that closed eye a little bit. And I, you know, like down the road, I might do a version of this where I have one eye cracked open, so he's just got one eye, you know. That's kind of fun. All right, this has to sit a little bit. While this is sitting, I'll get that body back out. You're constantly bouncing from one thing to another. Okay, now you get to sit over there. I've got a weird fold right here. I'm going to have to fix that a little bit. I got to fix these shoulder muscles a little. I'm going to fill in over here. I'm not too worried about this side, though, because I'm just going to fill in. But, again, it'll take every bit of this. Probably take one more of these. And remember I said I was going to use the white stuff because I had more sculpting time on the head? I didn't. I probably should have. I didn't. You see there's two colors here, and I'm just folding it a couple times. Make a worm. Fold the worm on itself. And every time I do that, I'm doubling the number of stripes. If you get enough stripes, then they are suddenly the same color. But this gets very hard. Tomorrow, this will be harder than the plastic it's attached to. And I don't see this even as being enough, but now it's mixed enough. And this leg comes all the way up here. I'm putting these bits of hard stuff in here as filler. I think we're a little bit limited by the top view, but I hope you guys get the point of everything that's kind of happening. Okay. Why wait? I know I need it. I got that pretty much in the right position. Do we still have 3 or 4 watching? Have we picked up anyone? If we did, they're not chatty. I am one of the few channels that talks on live. You absolutely could, by the way, you could do aluminum foil or anything else as filler. Absolutely. No issue with that at all. What's good about this too is that I'll be able to take this video and turn it into a regular video for this channel. So I can edit this down and turn this 3 hours into 2 hours or whatever it is. Okay. This will be the rest of this roll. I'll tell you what, June, I would say don't save bits for that because you're going to have crap lying around. Like if I was really hurt up, I could go to my garbage can right now and grab as much as I need for this little project. I have had moments where I'm like, man, I had the perfect thing for that last week, but I threw it out. but I have never had a moment where I didn't have a scrap of aluminum foil or whatever a chunk of foam in my garbage at any point in time. Now, maybe I buy more crap from Amazon from most people because I live in the country, but there's always, there's always cardboard, Just a blue paintbrush with water on it. My fur that I do is a lot stronger than what these guys do when they were sculpting this. So to make it blend, I'm just brushing out mine. And that's pretty hard now already. There's a little chunk here I've got to fill in, but I'm just going to do the hair anyway. Surface area is going to make it look better. Grab better, I mean. Yeah, mine is really harsh. Just take that water, paint right over it, comb it down. I've got this little bit left over here from the muzzle that I haven't mixed. I will say this is coming along very well. I'm very happy with it. My hands are filthy. You can wear gloves when you do this, but I have a hard time sculpting in gloves. So who wants to put on gloves, mix this, sculpt with it? I'll just get it on my hands. It comes off easy, If you do this when the clay is too soft, you'll just obliterate any fur that you put on. That's pretty good. That back leg sitting there. Now this is like a ghost leg, so I've got to put something in here. If you look at it from this side, it looks like he was hit by a battle ram. That's a vehicle from Master of the Universe. But that's okay. I'm going to check on my head again real quick. It's nice and solid. Sleepy Panthor. And I'm going to grind down part of this. And that's going to be right in here. This is curing. Go to the curing section. Now, and it's not like the, it doesn't disappear. Like, I'm not going to go as far as its skull, but obviously boy, that just makes me happy. His head is gonna, it's soft. It's gonna collapse a little bit. And I want this to be even a little more melty-inny. So I'm gonna bring in a little bit of this bottom here. Okay, so that all right there is exactly what I'm looking for. Because Panthor is this, badass monster that, attacks and you're afraid he's going to eat you. So, but this is him at home. This is him in Skeletor's lair where he is safe and comfy. And I got to get back of this guy and a little bit of up here. What you see with Panthor in the cartoon and in the toy, that's always Panthor at work. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of a different person when I'm at home and when I'm at work. And when my wife was in the fire department, she would every now and then, Captain Hops would come home and not my wife. So, one of those. Okay, well, his head fits really nice right there, and I think I'm okay with that. That is pretty. It's not exactly like the picture, but do I get enough? Or do I need his head up more? No, I'm okay with his head down that much. Right there. Now, where does it touch? Okay. Let's see where that touches. Remember our friend the glue? That's it. It's just another filler, hot glue. Okay. That's his head. That's where it is. And that looks pretty good, I'll say. That is a sleeping kitty. All right. Now the hot glue has to dry. And of course, I'm going to put the epoxy clay on top of that. Dry. The hot glue has to cool. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. I'm going to let this relax while I clean up my station again. Lid back on the glue. I will be on a new tube of steel stick. I still need my reference because I've got, some soft muscles to do and things like that. Cleaning up my station between activities.